Well, welcome back. We have a pretty standard storage tank water heater here. It is fueled by gas. You can see that because of the gas line here on the side. I would note here that we have a gas control, or sorry, gas shutoff. This is an old style shutoff that requires tools to turn on and off the gas in the line. Actually no longer would be allowed by codes today. So if a homeowner or a technician needed to turn off the gas at a moment's notice, they would have to get tools out. Today's gas lines would have a shutoff of sorts. In fact, let's look at the furnace here. Very similar to this. If you see the gas control or the gas shutoff here in parallel with the gas line, you know that it's in the on position. If you were to turn this 90 degrees, that would shut the gas off to the appliance. So that's what a new one would look like. So we'll recommend to the homeowner that they replace the shutoff on the gas line here. We've got a union. These are just common terms for components in a gas line. We've got an elbow, another elbow. We've got a T, and then we've got here something called a sediment trap or a drop leg. And then we have the gas control valves. On top, you'll notice that we have an on position, and you see this little notch here indicates that the water heater is in the on position, which means it's ready to fire when needed. If I turn it here to the pilot position, it means the pilot light will stay lit, but it won't actually fire if the temperature in the tank drops below its set point. And then we have the off position as well if you wanted to completely turn it off. So I'm going to leave this back in the on position. Here we've got the temperature control, and there's a little notch here that indicates where on the dial that we've got it set at. It doesn't show you exactly what the temperature is for this unit, but this is about 130 degrees of set point temperature, which means if the water drops below 130 degrees in the tank, that the water heater will kick on and start up. Here we've got a drain valve here. If we were going to flush the water heater tank and try to remove the sediment, we would hook up a garden hose right here, run that to a drain, and perform that as a maintenance function. But I've removed a panel here that was on top of this section, and I wanted you to look in this window and see that we have a single pilot light lit right now. One single flame. That's a pretty typical pilot light. I'm going to, while we're here, kick the water heater up, and now you should see a circle of flames around the water heater. So that's what it looks like when the flames are lit. I'm going to turn this back down to our set point, and now we're down the pilot. I would also know a safety control here. This copper wire here is called a thermocouple, and it reaches right into the burner, right into the pilot flame actually, and when it senses that the pilot light is not lit, it will actually tell the gas controls to shut off gas to the unit so it doesn't continually feed natural gas when there's nothing to burn that with, because you could have a buildup of natural gas. Speaking of safety features, we have here on the side a temperature and pressure relief valve. This is a safety feature that that is set so that if the tank would ever get too hot on the inside or too much pressure build up on the inside, that we don't have a catastrophic situation where it would actually explode. So the temperature pressure relief valve is designed to actually release that pressure and release that temperature. There is a discharge pipe that's properly installed here. It's dropping within 12 inches of the floor. One thing you want to make sure is that this is not plugged. As you can see, I can stick my finger in there. If it were plugged, you would kind of not have the benefit of the pressure relief valve any longer. On top of the water heater, you can see this is a natural draft water heater, also known as an atmospherically vented. We have the draft diverter, which is the saucer shape going around here. I don't know if you can see the inside, but you can look right through there. So all the flue gases pass right through this opening, past the draft diverter, up the vent connector. That's the pipe we're looking at here. Notice the vent connector starts to slope over here and goes up into another flue pipe that goes up through the framing of the house, up through the attic, and up through the roof. At one point, this particular water heater used to be commonly vented with the furnace, but when they upgraded the furnace to a power vent style, as you see here with the PVC pipes, they were no longer connected. So they did a nice install job here to properly vent the atmospheric water heater until it gets replaced. So that's about it for today. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time.